The people who seem most self-obsessed are often the ones most terrified of being exposed as weak, incompetent, or unworthy. And right there, they are most terrified of being exposed. That's that fear of exposure, fear of failure, whatever fear, but that's a fear-based aspect, right? But they don't want to feel weak. They don't want to be exposed as weak. You can't harm this self-image. I'm perfect, all this kind of stuff. Incompetent, unworthy. I do this a lot too, right? Like I have a struggle with my family. They all think that I'm idiots because of the way that I've acted for the past, decade while I was, drinking and not recovered or whatnot. And I haven't achieved much in life as far as progressing forward, right? But now I've got this clarity of mind and they all think I'm dumb. Well, the reality is that I know that I'm not dumb. There are things that I'm very ignorant with for sure. But as far as learning, anybody who knows me, anybody who's known me in the past 5 years knows that I learn very quickly. I love it. I'm actually obsessed with it. I'll pick up a book and I'll read it in one night, and then I could tell you everything about that book. That's not an ego thing. It's just because that's what I love to do. I love to absorb knowledge. I go into deep dive research modes and all this kind of stuff. But one of the insecurities that I used to have, especially, and I still probably struggle with it if I pay attention to it now, is that I didn't want to be exposed as being incompetent, right? And because it's a shot at me. Like I've built my personality around being intelligent, whatever weakness that is. But that's one of those ego things for sure. But history is full of these types of people. So like Napoleon, we have like a joke, like the Napoleon complex. He's short, he's brilliant, but so deeply insecure that he had to conquer half of Europe to prove himself. And I'm not going to get into the history lesson here, but if you go look at why Napoleon conquered the way that he did, it was wild to think that that was based on insecurity, but that's real. Like that's a Napoleon complex, right? You have Hitler, a failed artist, bitter at the world, created a monstrous ideology to compensate for his personal failures. A lot of damage. I mean, look at what this does. Countless dictators and CEOs and cult leaders and fraudsters, all driven by ego too fragile to accept reality. Steve Jobs is another one. The dude built a company and they ended up firing him because of his arrogance. That's a big time ego too, right? A big ego is like a balloon, right? Like the bigger the balloon gets, the thinner the skin gets. And then eventually it's met with the sharp edge of life's reality and then it just pops, right? So that's the overinflated ego.